Mr. Beast, TD Jakes, and Diddy, and how defamation cases always favour the rich. I want to talk about this with you guys today because, there's a lot of exposing that's gone on in 2024. Some of us have been praying for this for years. There's a lot of exposing that's been going on. And one of the things that comes up, of course, when the beloved of the jury of the sheeple comes, to be suggested to have done any type of heinous thing, the first thing everybody says is, well, where is the proof? We need to take this to court. We need to do this. We need to do that. And what you guys don't realize is you're playing right into the devil's hands. And I'm going to break it down for you guys. So listen through the whole video. My videos are long. Listen, I just watched the 10-hour Kaisen at Thanksgiving stream, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. And I was thinking to myself, it's crazy that I feel bad for making videos that are like 40 minutes when, anyway, not important. So, I know, that's wild. And I have stuff to say about that as well at another point. Anyway, I'm going to lay this all out to you guys, right? So we want these people to go to court. Okay, you were a victim of so-and-so. Well, we love this person and we think they've done so much for the community. Look at what Mr. Beast did for everybody. Let's just let the judicial process do what the judicial process is supposed to do. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and we're waiting for the sentencing. Well, jury of the sheeple, let's have a little lesson in logic, everybody, for a second here. Here's the first issue, right? When it comes to the law, let's look at it like this. Whoever has more money is always favored regardless. Why is that, you might ask? Well, because if you're rich, you can pay the best lawyers. You can pay people hush money. Money is the god of this world. So there might have been witnesses, there might have been whatever else there, evidence, but if the person who has the evidence, or if the witnesses are just like the rest of the adult population, or a lot of the adult population, worrying about the price of eggs, a quick little 10 milli from Diddy, a nice little 100K from Jimmy is something that might make you keep your mouth shut. And that's what I don't think people are thinking about. Because we assume, and this is what is the stupidest thing about society, and it's something that I've only learned truly from reading the Bible. And I'll tell you why I learned this from reading. I'll tell you what it is, and I'll tell you how I learned from reading the Bible. The problem we have in society is that we assume that the world is inherently good. We assume that the world is inherently just, that the evil people, that the selfish people, that the predators are the rarity. They are the exception to the rule. What I learned reading the Bible, right, and this is why I think it's a good book for you to read, even if you don't believe in God, is that all I saw, what I took away from reading it, and reading it cover to cover, so not just reading this, but like reading the story. If you guys want an understanding of the story, I do have a whole series where I summarize the entirety of the Bible, including the 400 years between the Old and New Testament. Go and check that out, or a playlist. My thing is that I realized that consistently, over and over again, it would be God would do everything for us without even asking for anything in return other than a relationship. And then we would throw it back in his face because we would want to engage in our own selfish desires. Then in engaging in our own selfish desires, we end up engaging in degenerate, dysfunctional behavior, which then leads to destruction and disorder and chaos. Then we come running back to the Lord when we've lost everything. But then as soon as we have everything again, we no longer want anything to do with the Lord because we get completely enamored with all of that. And we become selfish again because the only reason we even wanted him is because we were being selfish in the first place. And because inherently we are selfish and we are not good. And you see it over and over and over again in the Bible. God creates the world, right? He creates the entirety. He creates the garden. He creates all of this. Then he creates Adam. He's like, Adam, all I need you to do is just tend the garden. The garden was already, I did the work. You just need to tend to this garden, okay? And then he's like, oh, it's not good for man to be alone. Bing! I created a woman. Hello. And then Adam's like, woo, I love it round here. Yeah, great. He's got the woman, he's got the animals, all of creation, he's got the entirety of the world, right? And the Lord says to him, there's one and only one just singular tree that you cannot eat from. If you eat from it, you shall surely die. Or even, if you eat from that tree, you shall out of the entirety of the universe. I want you guys to imagine how many trees that you've seen in your entire life. Imagine there's only one tree you're not allowed to touch. That was the tree that you had to eat from, right? Because this is what I'm saying. This is what I learned from Adam and Eve. And I'm getting somewhere with this, with the defamation thing. So just flow with me. Listen, if you're in the winning mindset, this stuff is going to make sense to you. If you're a loser, it's okay. It's okay, we're all on our journey. So think about that. So, and it wasn't even him, but let's talk about what did happen. So Eve sees the tree, she sees that it looks good for food, looks good to bring one wise, it's a pleasing to the eyes, and so she decides to eat from it. And then Adam, who's of course like, well, have you seen Eve? I'm gonna eat from the tree. So Eve chose herself, Adam chose himself, and Eve, everybody didn't choose God, right? But then as soon as everything happens, who has to step in to come and help? It has to be God, right? And then we just see that happen over and over and over again, over and over and over and over again, throughout the entirety of the Bible, up until the point of God's own very people being the ones trying to kill Jesus. It was even the people of the world who didn't even want to. Was it Pilate? I think. They even had to convince them, because the funny thing was, the people of God were so enslaved that they didn't even have the right to kill Jesus, because all of their little squabbles and disagreements that were all due to selfish reasons, whether it was money, they enjoyed being looking at as these powerful spiritual leaders. You can see all about that, guys, in my Bible series. I explain all of it, right? The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Herodians, the Zachariah, all of them. It's all in there, right? And so they're all busy worried about their own selfish desires. So they're pushing the leaders of the world that they've become now, who are now overpowering them, right? They have to convince them to kill Christ, who's doing what? Dying on the cross for everybody's sins. So when I read the Bible, I understood that, humans are inherently selfish, because nothing that I've seen in there is anything different to anything I'm seeing here. And when we have these celebrities that people are all like, oh my gosh, like, we just want to see the judicial process go forth and go through. And we just want to know that, like, if you're innocent until proven guilty. It's so annoying. Because it's as if you think that in a world that is inherently made of selfish people, the default setting is to be a bad person. And I'm not trying to say this to make anybody feel bad about yourself. I'm saying we need to be aware of our natural nature, of our flesh. As I once heard somebody said, your flesh isn't going to the eternal life with you. So your flesh is only going to think about what's here and now, which again, inherently is selfishness. Reminds me of like what Solomon said in the Bible. He was the wealthiest and the wisest in all the land, right? He had 700 wives, 300 concubines, I believe, right? And what's the point in actually deciphering the difference when there's so many of them? You've got seven. What's the difference between the wives and the concubines? I would like to know, but that's not important. Questions for the Lord to answer in heaven. Anyways, so he had all of that. What does he say? Self-indulgence, it all's meaningless, it means nothing, right? But these are the things that we chase after. These are the things we enslave ourselves to. And these are the things, this is the way of the world. So for me, I always assume the worst. And people find me pessimistic, and I am. I'm pessimistic because I'm realistic. And somebody that I know actually said to me that, like, people who are realistic tend to always side towards pessimism, because you have to, you guys. Think about it like this. If you are somebody like Mr. Beast, right, and everybody's seeing your good deeds, oh my gosh, you're such a good person, whatever. And your belief is that generally people are good. If somebody pops out, right, and says, oh, he did this and he did that, you're instantly going to obviously not want to believe in it. Same with TD Jakes, same with Diddy, right, whatever, yeah. And then the thing that works in their favor is because you've had all this adoration and all this trust, this automatic belief that the world is a good place and everybody's good. All they now have to do with all the money that you've invested into them because of your wrongful default setting in your brain is you say, well, we want to see the judicial process. The judicial process comes along. They have millions, if not billions, right, of money to pay for the best lawyers, to pay for hush money, like I said, pay off witnesses, pay off this, pay off that. You're already in a state where, hey, if you now get found out that you are speaking up or trying to support, and Mr. Beast finds out, he'd just pop up to your house and be like, hey, you know, you must have just got this all mixed up. So I'm just going to give you like 300K because I just appreciate that you cared so much. And like, if I was really that kind of person, like then I would be so good. And we need more people like you who are serious about justice. And so I just wanted to give you like 300K. And then you'd be like, oh my gosh, Mr. B showed up at my house and he gave me 300K. And it's just when I needed it because I've been worried so much about where I'm going to live and how I'm going to be paying. And then you're going to be all lost in this performance, this literal witchcraft. Like, it's literally witchcraft, right? Because the definition of witchcraft is manipulation and control, right? Or you're going to be caught up in this witchcraft, yeah? And while that's happening, the person that's trying to speak up, they can't afford some big lawyer. They can't afford to pay no hush money. They got to take whoever the random state lawyer that they get, who's probably not being paid anywhere near as much as the other lawyers, who probably has a whole bunch of cases, and in reality probably doesn't want to go up against these people because they know this, they know the law themselves. They know that that person has the ability to do whatever they want to do, to play all the chess pieces they want to play the game that they're playing over there. And they themselves can only do as much as they can do. They can only spend so many hours because they also have a life that they have to look after. They also might be surprisingly, you know, sent some money. They might also have some kind of threats and things made. They might all of a sudden disappear. You know, they might have somebody kidnapped, for goodness sake. These people are heinous. And this is what I'm trying to say when it comes to this defamation thing, because a lot of, like, I was seeing this stupid Mr. Beast interview, right? And he's all like, yeah, you know, and like, I mean, that guy Dog Pack, like, he was proven that like a lot of the stuff he said wasn't even true. And that's what people needed. That's the thing. This is why these people are so genius. Listen, I've dealt with such manipulative, deceptive people that I know it when I see it. I know it so well. And I'm intelligent myself. So I know what I'm capable of. This is what I'm saying. I recognize myself as a human and I understand the capabilities of my intelligence, both for good and for evil. So that's why I know these things, because I know what I would do if I was in certain people's places. I know exactly what game I would play. If I was to ever want to be some kind of heinous predator, do you know what I'll play? I'll play the loving mother role. I'll have all these kids. They'll be so happy. I'll go around. I'll be going around with like a basket of like food to the homeless and like filming it all and just being like, no, don't film me. I'll like call the paparazzi secretly, like get somebody to call TMZs for me secretly and be like, no, I didn't want to be seen. I just wanted to do this out of the kind. And then people are like, oh my gosh, she didn't even want to like the attention. She just did it from the kindness of her own heart. And then I'll be heavily heinous behind the scenes. I'll be making some crazy threats. I'll be doing some crazy things. I'll be going to some areas and I'll be hiring some gangsters. I'll be hiring some thugs to do me some work. I'll be like, listen, you want to do me some work? You want to do me some work? Listen, I know I could do it well. That's why I know, because I can get into these people's heads. And because I'm telling you that I'm a human. I'm not here trying to convince myself that I'm better than I am, like a lot of people like to do. And that's one of those defects of us as humans, is because we want to think of ourselves so highly, and then we therefore want to think of the world so highly. And then that's exactly what the devil uses against you. Because deep down, we all know that we're all capable of anything, technically. So yeah, so this is what they do. They bring these defamation cases. So all you need is a little dingly dangle or something to get you back, because you're already enslaved to them. You already worship them for whatever reason. You ever worship Mr. Beast because, oh my gosh, he's such a lovely person and he's so giving to the world. Oh my gosh, TD Jakes, that message that Sunday was all I needed to hear. So when they start talking defamation, right, isn't it so coincidentally that Mr. TD Jakes, and I refuse to call him Bishop, by the way, just to say I will not be calling him that because I do not recognize him as a bishop. Anyway, Mr. TD Jakes, right? He, of course, he has his his illness on stage, and then boom, defamation case just after. Isn't it funny how Mr. Beast took all of this time to respond, and he's all like, yeah, you know, if I go back, I just wanted to do this in like a really casual conversation because I think this is better than one of those videos. And I was just advised by my lawyers, again, the lawyers that the victims can't afford to pay for, the advice the victims can't afford to get, because could Dogpack or whoever else could have afforded to have gotten advice about, is this the best way for me to do this? Probably not. But maybe they came across the information, and us in society who think, oh my gosh, if I go and speak up about the truth, there's going to be justice. No, there isn't, because the jury of the sheeple is just waiting because they're already enslaved to the person because of whatever. Because, oh my gosh, if I ever meet Mr. Beast, he might give me 100K, you know, like that thing he does. He's genius. I've got to give it to them. And he's actually younger than me. When I discovered that yesterday, Mr. Beast is younger than me, I made me feel sick to my stomach. Only by a year, but still. I was like, made me realize I'm literally not doing enough in my life if Mr. Beast is younger than me. Oh, goodness. I'm like, anyway. So, you know, he's like, yeah, he does those videos where he's like, he's just walking around, and if you see somebody's like, if you're already subscribed to me, I'll give you $1,000. Is that not the easiest way for him to build his platform? The platform that then gets him all this money, the platform that gets him all this money, power, and opportunities, the platform that gets him all this money, power, and opportunities, and lawyers that can absolutely, most definitely be favoring him and providing for him whatever he needs to win a defamation case. Because that's what my thing is now with all of this. I honestly don't care. Can I tell you guys something? I don't care what the sentence results are going to be of any of this. Can I tell you that? I'm praying to the Lord that he will deliver true justice, because I believe it's only him that will do it, not this world that we live in with all of us, myself included, who are very ignorant, right? Like I always say, Hosea 4:6, my people perish for lack of knowledge. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of these guys get away with it. They're found not guilty, and then all of the slaves are gonna come up with videos talking about, you see, this is why, guys, it's important that we don't question things and we let the process go through, because there were all these allegations and it affected people that were doing real good for the people. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, you're so right. We got to trust the judicial process. But nobody's thinking about how this is all being swayed. First of all, financially, massively, because they have the money, they have the power, they have the adoration of the people. Because my thing is with these cases as well, especially if they go to a jury. I have a serious issue with the concept of a jury as a whole when it comes to celebrities, but in general. And, you know, the way that God did justice is so different to how the justice system works, right? Because in the justice system of the Bible, in the times of Moses, because it all started in the Bible before, when, well, the God's way of doing things was, Moses, after he was leading the people and they were bringing all their issues to him, Moses's father-in-law was like, brother, you are not going to be able to do this by yourself. And he gave him a list of things, of types of men to choose to help to share the burden of dealing with the issues of the people, right? It wasn't some big case. It wasn't some big, whatever, like it is now, some big overly organized and whatever kind of process. It was people, men of God, men of character within the community that were respected, usually with, character and integrity, let's just leave it there, right? And they would discuss and go through the issues of the people, whatever the different crimes against each other were taking place. So where we're at now is, first of all, to be in any of these places as a judge, as a whatever, these are some of the highest sought out, most intelligent, quote unquote intelligent types of jobs you have to have. It's a very long process. There's a lot of ways to get there. There's a lot of things. As an educator, I can tell you that the system is very much rigged anyways, and very much in favor, of course, of who? The rich and powerful. Just like I was saying to you guys, and we're talking about this whole Amber Heard, Johnny Depp case, because that was another defamation case we had, that the judges, where people were saying, you know, because she was going around saying, well, we won in England. But it turned out anyways that the very company that, because she wasn't even the official defendant, she was the official defendant, I can't remember. But the company that was like a media company that was actually the one being sued for the defamation because of posting a story, whatever, I can't remember, right? Turns out anyways that company, the judge, his nephew works at that same company. Everybody was all in cahoots with each other. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like what I say to you guys about the FDA. People will say like, oh, people got all upset about this woman who made the pink sauce on TikTok, whatever, right? And they were like, oh, that wasn't FDA approved, FDA approved. But go to the FDA. The FDA has so many conflicts of interest. The FDA literally works with the very companies that it's auditing and it's approving or disapproving. So of course it's going to approve the people that they want to approve, and then the people that they're approving are benefiting off of the FDA because they got the FDA approval. So then the FDA is making money, they're making money, and everybody's happy. And then again, it's everybody doing everything within themselves. And then you, as an idiot, think, oh my gosh, I'm not going to eat this because it's not FDA approved. Listen, for me, with my food, it just has to be Holy Spirit. I just pray over all my meals. That's why I pray over every single thing I eat. I bless it in the name of Jesus, because I'm like, listen, we need to just bless this food, because who knows? Whether it's FDA approved, whether it's made in my own kitchen, who knows, right? At the end of the day. So my point here is that society's logic is illogical. As I've said to you guys, I now really truly understand, as somebody who teaches maths, and it's really hard, my job actually, because I spend majority of my job getting people to think for themselves again. That's what I'm doing with the kids. Even with the adults that I've had to teach, the adults, it's 100 times worse because they're used to doing this for a long time. I spend majority of the time with the kids that I teach, right, getting them to learn how to think critically and think for themselves. And then they actually have the actual critical thinking inside of there. But the reason it's not there is because you've been so well programmed by these performances that the devil puts on. Let's not forget that he's a performer. People say he's a musician. Yeah, musicians are performers. They put on a performance. I was saying this to you guys about when I was in Italy in July, right? And I was singing on tour with Zucchero, right? And I was saying how it dawned on me as I was on stage. I try to always be authentic, right? But it dawns on me all the time, every time I ever performed in general, but I was especially thinking about it now in light of everything I've been saying on YouTube in the recent years. I was thinking about how I'm on stage, right? I can just walk out, right? Like people will be there, like so excited, and like the crowd is screaming, and I'm looking. There's like 60,000 people in this arena, right? In this entire arena, the Milano San Siro Stadium in Italy, and I'm looking at all these people, and they're screaming, and they're like so excited. And any little thing you do, like if I wave at one of them, if I wink at one of them, like all these little things I'm doing, interacting with the audience, right? They think, oh my gosh, this shit was so cool. That was, and then you go and talk to them afterwards, like, you guys were so amazing. You guys were so cool on stage, whatever, right? I could be faking it. It could all be a performance just so that I am getting paid. I could be like, you know what? I don't want to be here. You're all idiots. You're stupid. I'm just going to smile on stage, waving at them, singing all my songs, doing all my thing. You know what I mean? Taking pictures, and all this stuff, and they were videoing us, and we were doing all of this, right? It could all be fake. It could be completely fake, but because of that, you're like, oh my gosh, that was so amazing. We have to go again next time. We want to go again. We want to see them. We want to see them again. You guys are so cool. Like, and this is how people were acting, I'm saying, like, even the production people, because we'll be doing multiple shows with the same production people, and they're like, you guys are so good. You guys really killed it today. Yeah, that's all. That could be fake. That's what I'm trying to say. It could all be fake. So when everybody's this is how I see the world. I see this is exactly what I'm seeing. The people like in these audiences, in these stadiums, like in the stadium that I was in, and it's like everybody's there, they're cheering and screaming. You have no idea what the intentions of the people on stage are doing, and you have no idea what's going on backstage. As I even said to you guys, the stuff going on backstage in the entertainment industry is so much more interesting than what's going on stage, and so much more juicy. Obviously, I can't share people's personal business, right? But you'll be surprised the amount of stuff that's going on. These people that you love, you wouldn't love to find out that, how much cheating was going on, for example, behind the scenes. You might not be waving so much if you knew that person that was winking at you on stage and was waving at you is out here backstage cheating. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's so funny how people just get so into the worship, and that's what the devil wants. He wants you to get into that place where you're just like, you love the person, you adore them, and then when whatever's going on behind you, you're like, they would never do that. Like, I've seen them, they're so nice, that they were so kind to me, they were so this, they were so that, right? And so all that person has to do now, with all of their power, with all the worship that you've given them, now is come through with a beautiful little defamation case that they're going to win anyways, because they got all the money that you spent coming to that concert. They got all the money that they're making because you came to the concert and you bought the t-shirt and you bought yourself a beer while you were there, and you brought your friends as well with you, and you guys actually, all of that stuff that you've spent your money on is exactly what's paying for them to be able to destroy the victims. So the victims probably if we were to look at this as a probability situation in society and not in a godly situation, because obviously God can do anything, and that's why I have to believe in God, because I'm like, listen, if it was up to the world, then we're doomed. We are doomed. If it was just up to the world, we're most definitely doomed. But thanks be to the Lord our God, because goodness me, right? If it was up to the world, the probability of any victim winning any of these cases is so close to zero. Like, especially if they don't have a big platform or any platform at all. Especially. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I'm trying to say. And this is what I'm trying to highlight to people. And I'm trying to say this to you, the winning team, because you guys are my people. And you guys, we are thinkers here. We're critical thinkers. We think for ourselves. We're very respectful. We don't all have to agree on everything, but we at least respect each other's perspectives. And we love each other over here. I know we're doing something different to the rest of the world. And one of the decisions that I made this weekend was, I'm only going to talk directly to the winning team from here on out. I'm not going to even bother with the world, because I'm so done with the world. Like, completely and utterly DONE done with the world at this stage, because it's just like, so yeah, so this is what I'm trying to say. It favors them. Our worshipping of them favors them. Our spending all of our money, like I said, favors them. It all goes back into their pockets. It all goes back into them. And then they can, again, keep doing the things that we want, because Mr. Beast is still now releasing his Mr. Beast games. He's now showing off, he's peacocking now. That's what he did on this Umpaville interview. Peacocking, right? With his well, I've been talking to this person and we're going to do that. And so he's letting everybody know, like, it was a big boss move. I don't think people realize what he was doing is just making a public announcement to everybody that's coming against him that you're done. You're done and you don't want to come up against me. I've been talking to lawyers. I've been sorting myself out behind the scenes. There might be things coming. That's what he's doing. It's an intimidation tactic. What you guys will see it as is, oh my gosh, we're so glad he finally spoke up. And you know what? And you know what he's probably been doing all this time, and what they've been doing? Studying everything, studying all the videos, studying what all the commentary channels are saying, studying what all the blogs are saying, studying what people are saying in the comments, because this is what they have the money to do. They have the money to do these things. They have the money to, this is exactly what Jimmy was doing. He was the one who was like, oh, I plan every single minute of my video, knowing how to keep the concentration of people. Within the first minute, you do this. Within the third to the second to fourth minute, we do that. Everything is so unbelievably planned to control the way that you think, right? Because somebody released the information that he gives to the people that hire him. And of course, if you're just thinking about this in a worldly, ignorant perspective, it's, oh wow, he's really good at what he does and he's really thorough and you can tell that he's studied. If you understand that, as the Bible says, you wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, you recognize that that is the absolute perfect art of manipulation. Like I said with TD Jakes, it's the same thing. He's a man of God. So the reason why a lot of Christians now are silent, a lot of people with platforms are completely silent, not even commenting. I'm not saying you have to say he's guilty. You've noticed I haven't said I think any of these people are guilty. I'm just saying that the defamation cases will always favor the rich. That's my statement here, just to be clear, right? What I'm saying is people are not even speaking up about it. People in the body of Christ are already even speaking up, or even just addressing, if this is true, then this, if this isn't, then that. It's just, oh, we're going to stay silent. We're going to wait for the judicial process of the world. And even you, in your mind, even just with the logos, the logic of God, right? You yourself have not realized that this is favoring him, of course, because this is a world system, and of course they're going to win in the world. And as one great man of God, which of course only had a YouTube channel of like 30k subscribers, was saying, because all the people who are speaking up about it are the ones with the smaller pages. All of the people who are championing it are the ones who are not allowed in the rooms that these other Christian folks and their conferences and their concerts and their whatevers that they do. All of these people, they're not allowed in those places, right? Yeah, those people, they've been saying it. They've been saying like, first of all, why are we even doing it? Because that's how I even came to the conclusion. Because this man of God was like, why are we dealing with these church issues in the world? We should be dealing with them amongst ourselves. Because isn't that what the Bible tells us to do? That when your brother, if there is an issue amongst the brethren, whatever, you're supposed to do things, like in how there's a system in the Bible. There's a 3-step system. I can't remember what it is. I should actually check before I do another video about this. But anyway, so we're already favoring them. So what was the point in any of this? Like, this is what I'm saying. And then if they get let off, that's all everybody's waiting for. The people who are enslaved to these folks are just waiting to hear not guilty. Because then as soon as that, first of all, even if deep down you know that there's something off, even if deep down whatever, you just need something to give you a reason to wash your hands of the situation, because you're inherently selfish, you're inherently slave to these people, you inherently want to benefit off of them, and inherently you're not a good person. That's the truth of it. I'm just calling it for what it is. Like I said, I know I'm not a good person. That's why I need to cling to the Lord. That's why I have to hold on to my faith, because I'm scared of what I will become without the Lord. I'm scared of what I would really be. And now we live in a society where, especially after COVID, people can hide so much of themselves that we're all just, that's what I said, we're all playing a part of this play. We're all in the playing characters together. We're all playing the characters together. We're all going out every day, waking up and presenting ourselves the way we want to be seen, presenting ourselves in the way that what we think is going to gain us something, right? Not necessarily being any type of authentic. That's why my YouTube channel is like this. My YouTube channel is not popular with a lot of people. My thoughts are not popular because I'm authentic. I'm authentic as heck. So it's intimidating. I know it intimidates people. I realize it now, because people think it's fun when they hear about it in concept, but in practice, when people realize, no, I really practice what I preach. Like, no, behind the scenes, this happens to me all the time, especially with men. Like, they think that, oh yeah, I know you like talk about God online, but like let's, we can have sex and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm really not gonna have sex with you. So it's not a performance. It's not a character. Like, it's not a fake thing. I'm not being inauthentic. People think they're going to catch me out behind the scenes and do some kind of behaviors. No, you're not going to do that. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to talk about it. If I'm not going to talk about it, it's because I'm working on it with the Lord, and I feel like it's not beneficial or beneficial for you guys to know, and also to the internet. So, I would, you know what, guys, if it wasn't for the fact that there's people out there, also my enemies can watch my videos, I would tell you guys literally everything. I would tell you guys everything. But out of wisdom, I don't, Not the point. My point is that it's easy for us all to put on these characters, these performances, the same way that you do, the same way that everybody does, is the same way that they do. And then you get caught up in the narrative, you get caught up in the fairy tale of it all. You get caught up in the idea, like I said, people being like, all the Christians, TD Jakes is really such a key part. It probably was such a key part of your journey. Guess what? The Lord used a donkey. And guess what? Just because the Lord uses somebody doesn't mean that that person is saved. Just because the Lord uses somebody doesn't mean that that person is anywhere close to the Lord. It doesn't mean they're in right standing with the Lord. It means that God used what he had at the time. And God does that all the time. God does that all the time, because he has to work with what he has, because he's working with very little, because we're inherently selfish and we're inherently idol worshippers, like I've been saying. The Bible, the first thing that in the Bible, in Exodus 20, when it talks about the 10 Commandments, right? First thing he says, you shall have no other gods before me. You shall have no other gods before me. I find that so funny that that's almost the one that's glazed over in a weird kind of way, because people just kind of assume, like, of course you're the God, my number one God. You're the God I believe in. Right. But then also, when you're hearing of victims, when the Bible says in Matthew 9, 34, I believe, to 36 or whatever, and it says that Jesus looked on the people, they were hopeless and helpless like sheep without shepherd. And he said, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. And when you're seeing people that are coming up and saying that these horrible things have happened to them, they've been a victim of, a predator, when you're seeing an addict, when you're seeing somebody that's been to prison, when you're seeing somebody that's homeless, when you're seeing somebody that's coming from a dysfunctional place, instead of you stepping in now to be the Christian that you're supposed to be, now you're stepping in to be judgment. When are you stepping in to be a Christian? Oh my gosh, I saved up $300 so I could go to TD Jakes' weekend conference and feel better about myself. And on the way, me and the other girls, we all got ready together in the hotel, and we went to Starbucks. And then in the car, we listened to Maverick City and Kirk Franklin, and then we drove to TD Jakes, and I just feel so good about myself. I'm so godly, and this is why I've got so cringed. I can't watch any of these videos anymore of these Christian girls. I love them, and I love how pure so many of them are. So many of them are so pure. They really are. And they're so genuine. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's just an issue I have with Christianity just becoming this. So everybody, I want to tell you how I became a God-fearing woman. So in the morning, first of all, of course, I have to say hello to Jesus. Now, I do actually say good morning to the Lord every morning, and that's just to try and remember to keep him in my, anyway, not important. But you get the gist. And then it's I like to go and sit outside and I read my verse of the day. So verse of the day today is, and it's okay, when does any of our especially as women, when does our discernment kick in? Because that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff that's happened, I've spoken up about Mr. Beast, I've spoken up about TD Jakes, I've spoken up about Diddy for years. Why? because something felt off, because I'm a woman, I have a womb, I have an intuition, and I have the Holy Spirit as a woman of God. So that is so that when there are things that are unseen that are about to affect the scene, or there are things that are unseen that are being warped, I can be the one, somebody else, to say something is off there. Maybe you shouldn't leave the house this morning. That friend of yours seems, you see what I'm saying? And you don't know why, but you just have to. So that's why I feel like us as women have dropped the ball massively. We have dropped the ball massively, because where was I? And I'm only saying that towards women, not to say men don't have discernment. Men also do have discernment, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that, like, I feel like as women, that's supposed to be like our bread and butter. Like, we're supposed to be able to tell, and then we want to be the ones like, and then society wants to say, oh my gosh, we want to protect the kids, we want to protect the kids, we want to protect the kids. Like, anybody who hurts children is the worst of the worst. Unless I'm already enslaved and worshipping them because I fell for the narrative and the performance and the play that was created and written by Lucifer him very self. Yeah. And then, you know who always still gets left behind? The kids. Because again, even with Mr. Beast, people are talking about the crypto, the this, the that. I'm not hearing very many people still speaking about the Discord with the children. The children, again, have fallen to the side, right? TD Jakes and whatever. Well, the man of God, like, we just got to go through. We're not worrying about no victims that happen to any young people. We're not caring about that again. Diddy. Oh my gosh, the Diddy list. I don't give a damn who's on the Diddy list. I don't care about who's on the Diddy list. I care about where are the kids that we've been seeing in these tapes, and what are we going to do with them? How are we going to look after them? How are we going to rehabilitate them? Make sure that they're looked after, make sure they're protected, and make sure that these things don't happen again. But no, everyone's talking about the Diddy list came out. Oh my gosh, Oprah just got arrested. Oh my gosh, Beyonce and Jay-Z fled the scene. Even with Epstein, the Epstein list. Oh my gosh, we're hoping Trump comes out so he can release the Epstein list when Trump is president. He says he's going to release. Is anybody talking about where are the kids? What happened to the kids that are on these islands? How do they also get there? These are my questions. These are my frustrations with the world. This is why, like I said, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys when we see, because you guys are my people. You guys are my people, and you guys keep me sane, because this world drives me absolutely freaking insane with the absolute stupidity of the way these people think. And I'm so grateful for us and what we're doing over here. And I know that what we're doing is actually going to have an impact that's doing something, right? So we have to be aware of this stuff. We have to be aware that there's this judicial process is not something to trust in or to hope in. It's like I say to you guys, right? It is absolutely illogical, right? If you are somebody who suffers from a sexual abuse of any sort, as I've said to you guys, I have many occasions, unfortunately, right? No one in that scenario is going to go, oh my gosh, this horrible thing just happened. Let me go to the police station and go and immediately report this. And now be questioned over and over and over and over and over again for potentially the next 4 years about something that, when nothing may ever happen, that person may immediately be released on bail and come to, terrorize me or send people to terrorize me or tell people that whatever. And then the judicial process will say, oh, just call the police, but the police won't be able to arrive in an instant. The police won't be able to stop them if there's already a knife held at my neck. So I'm like, none of that makes any sense. None of that works. None of that is any form helpful. I would never go to the police about any of those types of things. There's nothing wrong with the police. The police, I really do believe, do their very best. As I said to you guys, I was interviewing this detective dude earlier this year, and I was like asking a lot of questions, and I really felt, because even speaking to him, it was very clear that he's like, I do as much as I can, and I've had to just learn to have peace with knowing that I can only do so much. I wish I could do more, but I've had to just come to peace with the fact that I can only do so much. And it's sad. I'm still happy because they still do so much good work. I please let you know, I don't want to, I'm actually very much in favor of the police, when they're doing the right thing, because I do think that, I've had to call the police before. Oh dear, my life. But, so again, this is just another illogical thing that people think. You think that it's nice for the victim to have to be telling 100,000 times over and over and over again, trying to convince you to believe them. Like, this is what I said to you guys for myself in my own life. I can tell you guys, as somebody who's been through some of these things, It's not nice. It's the most cruel thing about my existence is the fact that I have to spend, in order for me to get help for anything that I've ever been through, I have to spend so much time to convince people that it actually happened. Heck, the Lord had to convince me that it happened. Because society is so set up that the way that we think and the people that do these things, because they're working with the devil, and the devil is the king of this world, the world itself, and society, that those people are always favored. The devil's always working at 100 times a mile to make sure that you favor and love those people and doing things with them, so that when anything comes up about them, when anything comes up about these people, it's like, there's no way they would have done that. To the extent that we now have like a look for what predator is. Excuse me. We don't even question women anymore because what women are supposed to be loving. No, there's no way. Like, even me as a teacher, like, there's no way. Like, as a teacher, she must just love the children. I really do. And because I do, that's how I've started to realize how many teachers actually don't. Because I'm like, I've realized the only difference between me and any teacher, it's not that I'm only especially better at teaching. If there's any kids, all I do is I just care. That's it. I just care. That's the only difference between me and anybody else is I care. I care about the kid. I care about them more than I care about, what grade they get, making sure I reach some stupid targets of whoever or anything else. I just care about them and getting them from where they are now to where they need to go in whichever way that I'm supposed to be doing it. That's in teaching them a subject, it's that, whatever it is. And it's the irony that in doing my job, majority of the time, when I'm talking to them, the issue isn't even the education. The issue is everything else around them, everything else in the environment. They've been unseen. They've been unheard. The people that are doing the wrong, whether it be the system, the school system itself, because it's always parents defending the school system. No, but the system is, they're not listening. The teachers are working so hard. Some of them are not. I told you guys, there was one of those kids I was teaching, yeah. One of the mums I was speaking to who had her daughter in private school. I told you, they were in private school, and the teacher was just playing these online videos that you can all go watch on YouTube right now, math videos, and then giving them worksheets to do that again are online right now, made by people like me who have their own independent education business, right? And then, meanwhile, the parents are paying thousands per term. I had another parent who's paying 30,000 a year per child. Great British pounds sterling. And then the parents' understanding is, oh, if this isn't working, this has to be because the kids are not doing what they need to do. And I'm like, the amount of times I have to explain to the parents, I spend more time explaining to them, like, look, this is what's really going on. And they're always shocked because their default setting was, of course we can trust the system. The system has vetted, qualified individuals who have safeguarding and who have done all the different trainings and whatever. So of course they're the trusted ones. So if there's anything wrong happening, the only answer is that it has to be my child who has the wrong idea. It can't be the system. There's no way a teacher would talk to you like that. There's no way a teacher would do that. Never. And then you wonder why. They start to have an attitude. They're disinterested. They don't care about school. They've got an attitude because they don't feel cared about. I get it. That's why I feel like, because of my experiences, that's why I'm good with the kids, because I get it. I get where they're coming from. I'm like, you know what? When they tell me, and especially because when kids get really comfortable, they start to tell you everything. Just because they want to talk. They're like, somebody's actually listening to me now, and somebody actually cares. They start telling you everything. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no. And the whole system will be like giving me these long forms I get, these companies that I get. And this child suffers from this. They are not capable of this. Then I talk to them and they tell me they're just telling me about their life and everything. And they're living in a freaking hurricane tornado. They're living in a childhood that's 100 times worse than mine. And no one's looking at that. No one's looking at any of that. No, and when I say childhood, I'm using vague terms because I'm saying the overall environment. I don't want to make this seem like I'm targeting parents, because I'm really not. I'm targeting the whole overall environment, right? And then you're like, yeah, and you expect a child at 10 years old going through all of that to sit here in math class and care about finding what X is. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. The world is backwards. The world is backwards. You thinking that, oh, this defamation, we'll see. At least now it's going to judicial process. No, there's no justice here. It's the injustice. And then the jury of the sheeple, society, is going to help along for these things to happen. and be like, well, we will stop listening to Watching Mr. Beast and we will stop listening to TD Jakes if they're proven guilty. Like, it's so unbelievably illogical. Let's leave that there, shall we? If life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And see you in my next one.